Hello YouTube, I Fix It All here, TMI Fix It All. I really didn't want to do another hugelkultur hoop garden video, but there's one piece of this, if you attempt to do this by yourself, that was an unexpected, very windy out today, sorry about that. There's another aspect to this was really unexpected to me about building this. In my earlier videos, you'll go back and you'll find out that basically I left the end cap off and I was able to transport the hay and the mulch and the manure and the dirt. But one of the first things I did was I focused on getting the bays, just get them level from uphill to downhill and not necessarily back to front. I wasn't concerned with that. I just wanted to make sure that I was managing the walls to keep them as square and perpendicular with, well, that's not the right word because I'm zoomed in again. Damn it, I will never learn. This is stair-stepping. It's going downhill. We might be able to detect that. We just look down the straight lines of the... You can just see it's just a little going downhill, but yet again, I'm having trouble getting to my point. My point is the support wires on the top. The idea of these support wires was to make sure that when the dirt was in and the dirt settled, that the walls did not bulge out and try to break and fall, you know? But something interesting happened. Over the duration of the entire year, I started to notice these wires going, I can't reach that, going slack. This is probably the better thing to talk about, okay? This particular bed, because it exemplifies the characteristic of the surprise that I want to try to describe. Again, I have on the bottom of these beds crap. Oh yeah, like right here. There's a wire. I have a wire securing the bottom to the bottom. There's a wire there. There's a wire here. I changed my style, ignore this style, but where's my next wire? Yeah, here you go. Here's the newer style. I go from the 2x4 under and directly to the opposite side with a wire. The concept was that the walls are supported and they won't expand and bow outward. And the way I leveled these things up, again, just level from side to side. Hello, Elvis. I basically put rocks underneath the vertical 2x4s. There's a rock on the corner, skip the middle, a rock there where there's a joint, rock, rock, and basically I put rocks to keep these pallets off the ground, and the same on that side, there's just rocks. Something weird happened. Those top support wires Again, we're supposed to keep the long walls from bulging out. And the bottom support wires, we're supposed to be doing the same thing to keep them from bulging out. Well, I didn't account for something. This is uphill that way. I was trying to prevent this wall from leaning out or leaning downhill because gravity works. But this wall is actually leaning uphill. It's bowed uphill. And this wall is kind of bowed uphill as well. They should be going that way. And then time marched on, and I started to see what the culprit was. And I see this wall here on the next bay, which is a little bit downhill. That bay is probably 3.5 inches higher than this bay. This wall is leaning downhill. This wall has got somewhat of a bow in it, leaning downhill. Well, lo and behold, this bay is way lower than that bay. This wall is leaning uphill. And as sure as shit stinks, that wall is leaning uphill. That wall is leaning downhill. That wall is leaning downhill. This one's leaning uphill. Leaning uphill. Slightly downhill. And since these are heftier pallets, you can hardly tell any downhill lean. What the hell is going on? Because these top wires have gone slack. I dug my sweet potatoes up. My God, were they deep. We did really well. Everything's gone slack. Those were tighter than hell when I installed them. All of these top support wires have gone slack. Take a look at them. I mean, those top support wires, they're all kind of just high. You know, they're floppy, supporting nothing. Pointless. What's going on here? All right, so anyone who might attempt this in the future, look at all those wires. They're arched like a damn wagon, covered wagon. They're all just floppy. Here's what's going on. When we installed the hoops, those are long flat panels, and we arched them, secured them to the interior wall here, secured them to the interior wall here, and then we add another panel and another panel, and we bonded them together with hog rings, which made them in unison become one. All of them are pushing downhill. All of those hoops are pushing that wall uphill. This hoop pushing that wall that way, pushing that wall that way. Even if this ground was level, you can almost hear. Come on, Elvis, help them look at this. I'm going to get down on the plane, this plane here, and you could see. Quit hitting my elbow there. Dang it, cat. You can see this plane is lower than that plane, is lower than the next plane, and so on and so forth. I'd say the transition from here to up at the beginning, I'm just using my imagination here, but I would guess it's about a 7 to to 8-inch difference from here to the very beginning. I don't want this to be a long video. I don't know how you would achieve this, but if you're going to do what I did and cut your pallets in half so that you have somewhat of a 2-foot high scenario going on here, like I have, that when you install these hoops, try to find an item you have lying around where you can pre-form this radius right here. And you only got to focus on, I would say, the 2 and 10. 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock. And I think a 55-gallon drum would be too small. I'm not really sure what you would use. Maybe not. Maybe the 55-gallon drum might be perfect because it to give you a basic bend. I'm not saying make that arc profile match a 55-gallon drum. What I'm saying is just put a 55-gallon drum on the ground, stake it to where it can't move, and then take your panels and, you know, I don't know what I'm talking about. I mean, screw it. You figure it out, but that needs to be pre-bent. This area right here, before you attach them and affix them to the pallets. At this juncture, I think my only quote-unquote fix is that I may do this. I need a bunch of scrap pipe. I need to hook ratchet straps, like grabbing this whole panel section and go over to here. You've seen me in videos where I've had straps attached before in the past. And basically ratchet strap this wall that way and that way to pull in the walls, and then drive a pipe in the ground right here. Or perhaps drive the pipe in the ground. Yeah, this is probably better. On the inside of the garden. Don't need to worry about that, but if I skip over, let's say midways between every panel, you'd want it in the middle of every panel. So there's a splice joint right there. So right in the middle, drive a pipe in the ground. After the wall is pulled, you know, because one ratchet strap, 2 ratchet straps, 3 and 4. Just ratchet strap everything inboard. That'll open up an air gap along this here and here, which will allow room for that dirt to get rained on and settle into, which will pull those wires taut, the support wires, and drive a pipe in the ground about every 4 foot to keep that wall from getting pushed that way. It's a lot of pipe work. Same with this. It'd be a ratchet strap job. I don't think I have enough ratchet straps to do this, because I mean, I'm looking at 4 there, 8, 12, 16. I may have enough. I may have to buy a pack. But literally, this arc here is literally pushing that entire, I don't know how many pounds of stuff is in there. That the effort in the steel work of this panel attached to the next panel, attached to the next and the next. I think there's 5 panels here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There might be 6. I think there's 5. the kinetic energy stored in that arc right there is constantly keeping that wall pushed that way. I don't really mind the wall getting pushed that way uphill, because I know eventually there's a point where that can no longer win. This is what bugs me, pushing this wall inward, influencing that wall downhill, which creates a weak point. I don't necessarily mind the right-hand wall here getting pushed uphill, which has influence of pushing that wall uphill. Although it's kind of counterintuitive, because it's still compromising joints. I got to figure something out, but it's no real emergency. It's just that whatever I settle on doing, I guess that means there's going to be one more video on this. And as a result of this one problem, that is why I have not capped off the tops. I was going to do simple vinyl, like a 12-inch wide rollout vinyl, so that it would act like a roof awning, so that when rain fell, it would hardly ever touch the pallets. But with the walls being unstable and always moving, I couldn't install a product that is 12 inches wide and 25 foot long, because it's going to flick up, or it's going to crack, or it's going to bow and tweak and twerk, and it's going to look like hell. I can't even put wood down. Or can I? Maybe if I get that wall pulled and this one pulled in, perhaps maybe if I did lag bolt my lumber on top. Of course, I wouldn't want this to be lumber on lumber. I would want to add something like tar paper and then lay the lumber. Maybe if I lag screwed, pre-drilled to every one of these suckers, it would actually help stabilize that wall from bowing outward and falling. Because if you see, everything's gone kind of wonky. This one's more pronounced. This one's actually doing an SC shape. It's not real bad, doesn't look like hell, but it's just interesting. Why did this happen? It's because these panels, I didn't pre-bend them. We fought the suckers over. I think we even got a couple of recordings of us installing them, fighting this in, hopping over, fighting that one in, screwing it down. So, all right, guys, you see my problem. I'll probably spend the winter doing the repair, because the winter is going to be an optimum time where I'm going to have constant moist soil, perhaps maybe more cooperative. This dry soil doesn't have any give. I can ratchet strap these walls in real easy and straighten them out, but pulling this wall towards that wall, I will have to ratchet strap that over the course of weeks to gently. I've even thought about adding a lag screw used for shoring. Like, think of it as a long 4-foot piece of rebar that's corkscrewed on the end, and the other end has a great big hex nut welded to it. Like, and then I install it. I'll have an L bracket right here where the lag bolt goes through the L bracket, through this dirt, at an angle through the dirt, and directly into planet Earth about 2 foot. And it'll be at an angle where it's not an obstruction for us doing our gardening, but have a lag bolt about every 4 feet where I could come out with my wrench and just adjust it to keep this wall. I don't even know what the hell to call this wall anymore, but this wall here is the compromised wall, because this is the wall that looks like it could cause the most heartburn. Maybe I will try to find a bolt solution that traverses the width of the bay, where I can come in, travel that way to where the corkscrewy part is clean over here, kind of like underneath the walk area. 21-minute pointless video, but that's the challenge here, is what's going on. And I worry because the more I ignore, the worse it might get, because it looks like the arches are winning. Alright guys, to be continued. But the garden did great this year. All's well that ends well. See ya. Bye.